This is a quick unboxing and my first impressions of the all new iPhone 14 Pro Max. Also, I'll be explaining some of the specs and features of this phone. I have ordered it directly from Apple UK. It took about a month to arrive. The one I have here is a 256GB space black in color. Now let's open the box and have a look at some first impressions. Now when you look at the box, first you notice the box itself, comparing to the older versions, had shrunk. Well packed, and you got that posh look and feel to it. On the back of the box, you'll get this green tag to peel off. First thing first is the color, space black. Now this particular color, I don't think Apple did it on a phone before. I'll tell you what, it was my favorite color and I went for that. But I don't think anybody else will disagree with that. Now second obvious thing is the camera. Boy oh boy, I have never seen anything like that on a phone before. We will talk about that in a few moments. Now let's look what else in the box. We got a lightning cable but no charger. That remains the same from the previous version. Now you can use any USB-C chargers to charge your phone. Then you got the SIM card tray opening pin and some minimal paperwork. Now let's put all these back in the box and we'll go back to the phone. When you hold the phone, it feels big. It's got these boxy squared edges. I'm not complaining. It actually feels really good. Highly polished stainless steel sides, and they absolutely shine in the sunlight. The bigger phone, you get the bigger battery. You can't complain about the size. Now the camera itself is protruding out, and when you put it on a flat surface, it's really uneven. Again, not complaining, because the bigger camera, well, you get the better quality pictures. In my opinion, from the day one, you do need some sort of case to protect the phone and the camera, because the camera itself, like I mentioned before, is protruding out. So if you leave it in a flat surface, something sharp, it will definitely scratch the lens. Now mind you, it's so nice without a case. You hold it, good feel to it. The square edges actually feels really nice. Phone is so expensive, so you do want to protect it with a case. Now let's set it up and get into some features and specs. If you are like me, upgrading from an older version of iPhone, it's so simple. Now I am upgrading mine from 11 Pro Max to 14 Pro Max. To set it up, all you need to do, keep the phones side by side and turn on both and just follow the instructions. Now mind you, if you have a lot of documents in your older phone, it may take a long time to download all that to the new phone. But apart from that, it's so simple. While the phone transfers the data, I will show you the case and the screen protector I went for. Now this is a Pro Porta case. The first time I came across this brand. It's a silicone clear case with a MagSafe charging capability. They are not too expensive and not too cheap. Has some good reviews on the internet. I haven't got a MagSafe charger at present, but I thought just in case in future if I opt for one. Well, the case has a good feel to it and a good grip. Also, I went for a screen protector from the same brand. It does look thick enough to protect the screen. The restore is now completed and all the data has been now transferred from my old phone. I have popped the screen protector and the case on this phone, and this is how it looks. Looks well protected, feels really good. It got that nice grip now. Now let's have a look at some of the features and specs. The way I'm going to look at it is how will iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max will stand out from the previous versions. Internal specs, camera and the display. When it comes to internal specs, the first thing is a new A16 Bionic chip and 6 gigs of RAM. Well, according to the Pro reviewers on YouTube, it's only a tiny bump up from the A15 Bionic chip on the previous versions. Well, what it's mean to me? Well, you basically get fast, solid performance. You can feel it as soon as you play with the phone. New set of sensors with crash detection. If you've been in a car crash, phone will prompt you to call emergency services and you're not responding to that, then the phone will automatically send messages to the local emergency services and eventually you get help. It's a nice safety feature to have. Another thing is the eSIM capability. All US versions of iPhone, the new ones, they only have eSIM capability. Everybody else around the world, they have a SIM card tray and eSIM capability. To set up a eSIM, it is simple. When you set up the iPhone, initially it will prompt you to set up a eSIM. You just follow the instructions. It's not complicated as it sounds. The only con with this, if you are an international traveler, you reach another country and you want to put a new SIM card in and quickly, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But in future, Apple will get rid of all the physical SIM card trays. The next, satellite connectivity. Well, what does this mean? Now, if you get stranded somewhere, maybe in the middle of the sea or in the middle of the desert, and there is no cellular connectivity, now iPhone antenna can now communicate with the satellites above you. Actually, the phone will help you to position to the satellite and then will send messages to the local emergency services for help. Is with the location. The end result will be you will get some help from the services. Now, I hope this is something you or me never have to use, but it's a nice safety feature to have. Display. iPhone 14 Pro is 6.1 inch and iPhone 14 Pro Max is 6.7 inch OLED display. Well, it's crisp and really fast. Another main thing you will notice is the higher brightness capability. On the bright sunny day, you will notice that difference. But if you bump it up indoors or in the shadows, wow, it's so bright and you can't even look at it. Another new feature is always on display. So what it looks like, you put the phone down and if you hit the power button, the brightness drops and you can see the clock, date and the notifications. Well, I'm not a big fan of this, so I will be turning this off. Well, if you are an office person and you want to keep an eye on the daytime and notification all the time, then probably keeping that on may be a good idea. Another new feature is the dynamic island. Well, what does this mean to me? It has a resting state like this. You can actually see the camera and you can see this pill shape cut out to the left. What it basically shows? Well, it shows all the current and some of the background activities like incoming calls, Face ID activation, volume up and down, airport connection, timer, map. It's actually really cool. It looks so simple, but Apple put a lot of work to make it unique. Camera. Now, this is the biggest change on the iPhone camera system. The primary camera on the iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max is now a new 48 megapixel sensor. It is 65% larger than the 12 Pro and the 13 Pro. It has a good focus shift, optical image stabilization, f1.78 lens, more light and more sharpness to your images. Can take a very good low light picture, shallow depth of field, image will look more professional. It will also enables to take 1 times, 2 times and 3 times focal length without compromising on image quality thanks to 48 megapixel sensor. Also, if you're running and filming or if you're filming out from a car window, now there is an action mode which will give you an intense stabilization. Although it comes with a heavy crop, but you can still shoot up to 2.0K in this mode. This is a nice thing to have. Also now you can take raw images. Obviously it's a huge file with more details. The people who want to play with the images in post-productions. Another cool feature is the new 12 megapixel selfie camera. Really cool, really crisp, very detailed images. Excellent bump up. Yes, it has a cinematic mode as well, which is basically more shallow depth of field, and you can shoot in 24 and 30 frames per second. All these specs on the camera means to me that iPhone 14 Pro and the Pro Max has the best camera system in any phone in 2022. Now my take on this phone, if you are using an iPhone of any versions below iPhone 11, this will be an amazing upgrade. And anyone from iPhone 11 and above, well, if you are looking for the best camera system on a phone in 2022, this is the one for you. On my next video, I will be looking at the camera system in details. Till then, peace.